Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Steel City Knives. Right, we're doing a bit of a January EDC update. So basically at the start of the month I'm going to be selecting my EDC. I'm going to be putting in this box here. This box lives in my bedroom. Then every day it's just the way I do things. I get up, I can select my knives and I'm away. So this month's been a bit different. I've been extremely busy. Unfortunately, I have a job that I can't carry or EDC a knife. It's a very controlled environment. I do 12-hour shifts. So really, now, am I mental? Has anybody had the same feeling like me? I've generally looked at jobs where I can carry a knife every day, so I can EDC my knives every day, because I feel like I don't get enough time with them sometimes, especially this month. Putting in the hours at work, so I've not had the chance to carry my knives as much as I would like to, really. But you can't have everything, right? I told you I was going to give you a bit of an update. So about the giveaway. So David won it. I managed to sort out the first time I've ever sent a knife to America. It was very affordable, really good service. I did it with the Royal Mail. It cost me like £12.90. I was very impressed with the price. It's a tracked system, so I gave the tracking number to David so he could keep up to date with things. It's in America now, so hopefully it'll be with him shortly. David, I didn't put a note or anything like that. I realised I was taking my sweet time with it, so I just literally put it in a box and sent it over to you, mate. So I hope it reaches you safely. I feel like we're on the final stretch now, so hopefully it'll be with him and I'll give you an update that it's made it. I've got a couple of other knives that I'm going to send over to America. I'll do a quick video before I do that also. Right, so should we have a look? So these are all the knives I picked. And now I think, even though I didn't have a lot of time, this is probably too many knives. So the initial idea of this I got from a channel called Fading Margins, which I really enjoy his content. He's an Australian guy that lives in the UK, a knife lover like us. And he basically picked a knife for the month. He carried it for the month and then he gave a really in-depth review. I'm greedy. I like to have a bit of a selection. But I believe this might be too much of a selection because I don't know what I'm gonna. It's a sort of a work in progress, this idea. So it would have been good if I selected knives and then reviewed those knives throughout the months. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. I've got a lot of things going. We've still got Ian's collection videos to do. I've got a few things in the pipeline I want to be doing videos on as well. So, yeah, it's a bit of a big ask, especially this many knives. But I might shrink it down a bit so it gives me a bit more quality time with that knife so I can put it to use a bit more. But what I will do, I'll show you the knives that have I've been carrying the most from this. So we've got the Boca. So for my moderns, I've got two here. We've got the Boca XS. They're both slip joints, so they're both UK legal. I'm trying not to make this a massive video, but we all love talking about knives, so let's just ramble on. So when this first came out, I never wanted it because it's a very aggressive looking knife, and at the time it was a very simple black with a plain blade. But when I seen this version, I bought this second hand over sort of the Christmas period from Rab, thank you very much. So when I seen this version with this green and this sort of tumbled blade finish, it just really softened the look for me, and I thought, yeah, that looks really good. And I have been carrying it a bit. The only problem with this sound of it when it opens, you cannot like get this out without somebody being aware. Just listen to this thing. It is just so loud, but I love it for that. But also when you're out and about, and the aggressive nature of the blade. It's all right if you know, sort of work. It's a real good working knife because it's such a strong backspring. It's 440C, which I really enjoy that steel. But yeah, just a really decent knife, good solid knife that is, good solid work knife. But I'm falling back in love with Spyderco again. I have had a few throughout the years and I've sold a few. I've just bought like I think it's like a discontinued model now, quite a bit of a unique model. But yeah, I think I'll be building that collection back up because this thing I just absolutely love. This is the UK PK. Our English guys or viewers will probably know this knife very well. So Spyderco have actually designed this knife for us in mind. And you can't go wrong with a Spyderco. You really can't. They're just so ergonomic. It's really lightweight. I love that. I love the pocket clip. I love this wide pocket clip. It's so minimalist. It's very inoffensive. It's just a really, you know, inoffensive in the terms that you can't see it's a knife there. It's deep pocket carry. It's just a good all-round knife. It really is, and it's got the S30V blade steel on that. But yeah, I love this thing. And this, I must admit, this has been getting a lot of pocket time. This is probably won over the Boker. This probably did get the majority of the modern pocket time. Right, should we have a look at the 5th pocket knives? Now, don't get me wrong, I love these all. I can't say I love one more than the other, but I haven't been able to get this out of my pocket because I'm a knife lover in the sense that I like the history. I like I like sort of the in-depth view of knives. Does that make sense? So, you know, we all know about Buck, we all know about Taylor's Eyewitness, we all know about George Wolstenholme, but this is a company that's still a bit of an unknown to me. I've still not done a lot of research, and it's just intrigued me, and I just really like the makeup of it. I like the way it's built. But yeah, it's a company, the Tang stamp's got Rex on it, and I spoke about this before. There we go. You can see it there. So if anybody's got any information on it, I've been on some of the knife forums sort of researching it. I bought this off Drew White. He's taught me a bit about it. But just a really interesting piece. So the company itself, I think they're sort of like a hardware company, and then they outsource it to different manufacturers in Soligen. So this could be a boat. It could be anything for all I know. But it's just really well made. It's really nice. It's sort of like a pinned shield. I think that's a wide crest. Really nice jig bone covers. I just love it. I really do love it. It's got a pen blade instead of a spade blade, but it's just a really good size, 5th pocket dropper sort of thing. It's size of like a medium Stockman. But my other selection here, it was the Buck Yearling, which is a phenomenal knife, and I like that series, I really do, and they're very rare and hard to get over here. So anytime you see sort of like an American-made Buck that's a slip joint, I like to snap up, definitely. And then we've got this Taylor's Eyewitness that I really want to start carrying because it's such a nice piece. It's like a vintage piece. We've got a spear point and a pen blade, but again, it's built so well. It's got lovely walk and talk, and I've nearly dropped that. But yeah, just a really nice piece. And I'll give that a bit of pocket time, but that Stockman just always found its way into my pockets, and I'm unsure why, but you know, these things are what they are. And then, right, so the selection at the top, we've got a Victorinox. I'm always going to have a Victorinox in here because it's always good to have a multi-tool. This is the one that I've done a video on this all on its own, so I'll just link that at the end. We won't really go into too much detail about this. Again, the same with this Queen. I've sort of refurbed this a little bit, and I'll link that video at the end of this one. But I love this thing. And if you know my channel, you know I love a Queen knife, Queen cutlery knife. But let's just have a look at that sword cut bone again. The covers are phenomenal. But yeah, love that. And then I love this knife, but it didn't get a lot of pocket time. And I don't know why, it just didn't. But my go-to knives out of these lot were these two. So I'll just get this out of the way a bit. We've got this old hickory. I got this at Christmas time for about £40. I used it sort of for food prep and all sorts, but what really is sort of coming to its own is a bit of a working knife. So I do a bit of DIY, a bit of gardening and stuff like that. So this is like turned into a bit of my dirty knife, really. It just really is good in that sense. It's just really well built, American made. I love carbon steel for sort of a working knife anyway. I love this big chunky spear. There's a couple of gripes with it. I'm not a big fan of the nail nick. It's sort of aesthetics over function, function over sort of aesthetics, I suppose. It does make it really easy to sort of pinch open, but I'm not a big fan of it. I'd also like a bit more of a tang here so you can choke up on it a bit, but it's a bit of a rough and ready knife, but it's like a rustic beauty, I suppose. I don't know. It's just a real good solid knife, and the walk and talk on it, if you listen to this, it's it's really good walk and talk on it. Really solidly built. You just know something like this will last you a while. This is really well made and put together. But yeah, love this thing, and it got a hell of a lot of pocket time. Just it's a pocket dropper in it. You don't have to be too precious about it. One little flaw, it's got this on the closed position. It's not flush here, but other than that, I'm really impressed with it. I really do rate the knife. I think it's very, very, very decent work knife, and that's what I'll be using it for. But yeah, and then so I shown this before. I wasn't very complimentary of it. One thing that I think you've got to be rational and think, so this was an SFO, a special factory order. So you don't know what that company that was taking out the special factory order paid the knife manufacturer. And obviously whatever the knife maker makes is how much time and effort he can put into making that knife. So if he's paid a good price, he can make sure he turns out a nice product. He should spend a bit more time hafting it, making sure it's nice. And to be honest, the problems I have with it, only a knife collector or somebody that's really passionate about knives will probably pick. If you was an average guy, you would not pick up on the flaws that I found in it. Well, maybe the blade issue, but I must say, every time I've carried this and I've got it out, it has had the most attention, the most compliments. People generally loved it and just thought it was really nice. And it is, it's a gorgeous knife. I put a bit of beeswax on it now. I put my own edge on it. I'm not one of these that go and put a mirror edge on it. I put a cutting edge on it and then I leave it. I'm not there for ages. I'm very rough and ready. So when it came to me, it had a chisel grind. I've now put a bevel on it and like I say, got an edge on it. So it probably could do a bit of a strop and a sharpen, actually, to be fair. But it's got a bit of blade rub. The hafting's not the best. I don't know if the wood shrunk but you can actually catch my finger on that. I don't know if it'll show on the camera, but I like to give an honest, accurate review of things. But yeah, you can feel it and probably hear it there, so that snags a little bit. But generally, aesthetically, it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. But and one thing, I love this Barlow shape. And being friends with people like Drew White is sort of shown light on sort of the Stannington Barlow. So it is a Sheffield sort of, it's born and bred Sheffield size and pattern. And when you think of that Barlow and you think of the big bulbous end as Sheffield, this is a Sheffield, this came from Sheffield as well, this sort of size, and it's very reminiscent of probably that Stannington shape. Unfortunately, I don't have a Stannington. Hopefully I'll pick one up this year. Stephen Cock is potentially going to make some this year, so hopefully I'll manage to get one for the collection. But yeah, it's grown on me now. Now I've got a nice edge on it, and I put a bit of beeswax on the covers here. But it's a gorgeous piece, and it has had a hell of a lot of pocket time, and it's got lovely walk and talk on it. Really nice for that sort of size of knife. But yeah, right, that's it. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.